Hello, and welcome everyone from Kent Business College. All right, let's talk about a phrase that can sound a little stuffy, maybe a bit dry, but I promise you, it is the single biggest difference between project success and, well, a spectacular failure. That phrase is project governance, so let's get into it.
So let me ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Think about a project you're on right now. Is it a well-steered ship moving with purpose towards a clear destination, or does it feel a little bit adrift? Maybe even heading towards the rocks? That feeling right there is exactly what good project governance is all about fixing.
To really get this, really get it, we need to go way back to the very root of the word governance itself.
And it all comes down to this one ancient Greek word, kubernao. It tells you everything you need to know. Governance isn't about bureaucracy. It's not about filling out forms in triplicate. It's about actively steering. It's the difference between being the pilot of the ship and just being a passenger, kind of hoping for the best.
So let's just nail this down. When we say governance, what we're really talking about is the framework for making decisions. It's about having control and making damn sure that we are always pointed in the right direction. It's a structure that stops you from getting lost at sea.
Okay, so we've established that governance is all about steering. But here's where it gets interesting, because this steering happens at two totally different levels, and each level is trying to answer one big, critical question.
And this right here just nails the difference perfectly. Corporate governance, that's the top level. That's the Admiralty looking at the whole world map and deciding, right, our big strategy is to open trade with the Americas. They decide which voyages to even fund in the first place. But project governance, that's about one specific ship on one of those voyages, making sure that this journey is managed properly, that it avoids the storms, and that it actually makes it to port. One decides the destination, the other manages the journey itself.
Now, of course, the Project Management Institute has let's say, a more formal way of putting it, but it's saying the exact same thing. Project governance is the bridge. It's that function that connects the big, top-level strategy to the actual on-the-deck actions of sailing the ship. It makes sure everything is aligned from top to bottom.
Okay, so if the project is a ship, who's actually on the bridge calling the shots? Let's meet the key players in this whole operation.
First up, let's talk about the project sponsor. In our analogy, this person is the admiral. They're probably not on the ship every single day, but they are the high-level champion who owns the entire mission. They're the link between the Admiralty, the company board, and this one specific voyage.
Now here's the crucial thing about the Admiral. They are the single point of accountability. If this mission succeeds or fails, it's on them. They own the business case, that's our treasure map, the reason we're sailing at all. They get the money, they get the crew, and if a giant sea monster shows up that the crew can't handle, it's their job to step in. They are the ultimate boss of this voyage.
Next, you've got the project board, sometimes called a steering committee. If the sponsor is our admiral, think of this as their council of trusted captains and expert navigators. It's a group of senior stakeholders who are there to provide that collective wisdom and oversight for the whole journey.
So what does this council actually do? Well, you can think of them as meeting regularly to check the ship's logs. Are we still on course? Are we burning through our supplies too fast? Are there any icebergs on the horizon? They are the guardians of the voyage's value, constantly asking, is this trip still worth it? And if a huge course-altering decision needs to be made, it comes to them.
And that brings us to the person with their hands on the wheel, day in and day out, the project manager. In our little naval story, they are the first mate, responsible for the daily running of the ship.
So the first mate is managing the crew, the budget, the schedule, all that good stuff. But pay really close attention to that last point. It is so important. The project manager is accountable for delivering the outputs, getting the ship to the port, on time, on budget. But the admiral, our sponsor, is accountable for the outcome, for making sure the treasure we find at that port actually makes the company richer. Think about it. A ship arriving perfectly at an empty island is a successful output, but a total failure of an outcome. And that difference is everything.
But look, having a brilliant crew is one thing. It's not enough. Without the right navigation tools, you're basically just, you're efficiently rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, aren't you? While making sure the tea service is still perfect, of course. Good governance gives you these essential tools.
And these tools, these control mechanisms, they are your eyes and ears. They're the charts that show you where you are. They're the compass that shows you where you're going. And they are the lookout up in the crow's nest shouting land ahoy, or, maybe more importantly, iceberg, dead ahead.
And here is one of the most powerful navigation tools in practice, the stage gate. Think of these as planned stops at key ports along your voyage. At each port, the captain's council gets together. First, they review the logs. How are we doing on time, on money? Then they check the treasure wrap again. Is this still worth it? Then the council formally votes. Do we keep going? Do we change course? Or do we abandon this voyage right now? It's an incredibly powerful way to stop throwing good money after bad.
Okay, let's pull all of this together by zooming back in on our admiral, the sponsor. Because their job doesn't just end when the ship leaves the harbor. No, they are an active leader for the entire voyage.
Just look at their journey here. The sponsor starts it all by championing the idea. They go out and secure the funding. During the voyage, they're the one who removes those big sea monster-sized problems. When the ship finally arrives, they formally accept the delivery. But, and this is so often forgotten, their job still isn't over. They stick around afterwards to make sure the treasure we brought back is actually valuable. They own those benefits from start to finish and beyond.
Phew. Okay, that was a lot. So if you're going to take away just one single principle from all of this, what should it be?
It's this, simple as that. Success comes from two things. First, everyone from the admiral down to the crew knowing exactly what their job is. And second, having a system where truthful, honest information flows quickly from the engine room right up to the bridge. If you don't have that, you are sailing blind.
And the reason this matters to you in your career isn't about red tape or bureaucracy. It's the exact opposite. It's about empowerment. Understanding this framework gives you the visibility to see what's coming, the control to steer effectively, and the clear authority to make the right call at the right moment. It's what turns a chaotic voyage into a successful mission.
So our ship is ready to go, the crew is in place, the navigation tools are set, but here's the final, and maybe the most crucial question of all. How do we make sure that our ship's specific voyage plan is perfectly aligned with the Admiralty's grand global strategy? Getting that alignment right is everything, and that is what we are going to explore next. I'll see you then.